Welcome to the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency. We are located on the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. Today is the 9th of November. It is Thursday. It is 10 o'clock in the morning, and your radio hosts today are Clark and
Missy.
And we will be reading the news for today's edition of the Fayetteville Observer.
I'm going to begin with your weather today. It is kind of dreary out there. Today is Thursday, November 9th, 2017, from the Fayetteville Observer. Today we're going to have morning rain, then areas of drizzle. It's going to be up to 57 today. That's better than yesterday, and a low of 42. Going to tomorrow, I'm smiling. The sun is coming out. It's going to be sunny, breezy, and cool with a high of 60 and a low of 30 degrees. On Saturday, we're going to have a high of 51. It's going to be cold with a low of 35, but it's going to be mostly sunny and cool. Now Sunday, we're going to go back to clouds. High of 60 degrees, a low of 46, cloudy and remaining very cool. And Monday, again, it's going to have that rain and drizzle possible with a high of 62 and a low of 41. Let's see what Chick says for us. He says, another gloomy day. Light rain will give way to moderate showers across the Cape Fear region this evening. Sunshine will be hard to find all day, but clouds will move offshore this evening. Look for highs in the low 50s, slipping into the low 40s overnight. We still have plenty of cold coming. So you may follow Chick Jacobs online at Fayetteville Observer /weather on Twitter.
Today in history. Today is Thursday, the 9th of November, 2017. It is the 313th day of 2017. There are 52 days left in this year. Today's highlight: on the 9th of November in 1967, a Saturn V rocket carrying an unmanned Apollo spacecraft blasted off from Cape Kennedy on a successful test flight. On today's date in history, in 1620, the passengers and crew of the Mayflower sighted Cape Cod. On today's date in history, in 1872, fire destroyed nearly 800 buildings in Boston. On today's date in 1918, it was announced that Germany's Kaiser Wilhelm II would abdicate his throne. He then fled to the Netherlands. On today's date in 1935, United Mine Workers President John L. Lewis and other labor leaders formed the Committee for Industrial Organization and later renamed it the Congress of Industrial Organizations. On today's date in 1938, the Nazis looted and burned synagogues as well as Jewish-owned stores and homes in Germany and Austria in a pogrom that became known as Kristallnacht. On today's date in 1965, the Great Northeast Blackout began as a series of power failures lasting up to 13.5 hours, left 30 million people in 7 states and part of Canada without electricity. On today's date in 1976, the UN General Assembly approved resolutions condemning apartheid in South Africa, including one characterizing the white-ruled government as illegitimate. And finally, on today's date, in 1986, Israel revealed it was holding Mordecai Vanunu, a former nuclear technician who vanished after providing information to a British newspaper about Israel's nuclear weapons program. Vanunu was convicted of treason and he served 18 years in prison. And today's celebrity birthdays: actor Charlie Robinson is 72 years old. Movie director Billy August is 69. Actor Robert David Hall is 69. Actor Lou Ferrigno is 66, and he is the Hulk. Senator Sherrod Brown, a Democrat from Ohio, is 65. Gospel singer Donnie McClurkin is 58. Rock musician Dee Plakis of L7 is 57. Actress Eon Overman is 48. Rapper Peppa of Salt and Peppa is 48. Rapper Scarface of the Ghetto Boys is 47. Blues singer Susan Tedeschi is 47. Actor Jason Antoon is 46. Actor Jason Antoon is 46. Actor Eric Dane is 45. Singer Nick Latchkey of 98 Degrees is 44. Country musician Barry Knox of Parmalee is 40. Rhythm and blues singer Sisquo of Drew Hill is 39. Country singer Corey Smith is 38. Country singer Chris Lane is 33. Actor Nikki Blonsky is 29. And wrapping it all up is actress model Annalie Tipton. She is 29 years old today, the 9th of November, 2017.
What you need to know. Number one, there's going to be a motorcycle rally. The Fayetteville Area Convention and Visitors Bureau, in partnership with Freedom Biker Church and Rolling Thunder, North Carolina, Chapter 1, will host the first annual Heroes Homecoming Motorcycle Rally on Saturday. The rally will close out the 5th annual Heroes Homecoming celebration. The rally will kick off at Fort Bragg, Harley-Davidson at 10:30 a.m. Registration begins at 9:30 a.m. The ride will go through Cumberland County, stop at the Airborne and Special Operations Museum for the dedication of the Vietnam Moving Wall, and then move to Festival Park, where there will be guest speakers, live music, a bike blessing, and a missing man table ceremony. Number two, we have a Veterans Day program. The Disabled American Veterans Auxiliary Unit Number 5 is sponsoring a Veterans Day ceremony Saturday at 11 a.m. at the North Carolina Veterans Memorial Pavilion in Broadway. The ceremony will honor and celebrate veterans and active duty members of the armed forces. A Purple Heart will be presented to the family of a Korean War veteran. For more information, get your pencils. Call 919-353-9836. And number three, we have a Veterans Day ceremony. Yes, the town of Spring Lake will have its Veterans Day ceremony at 9 a.m. Friday, that's tomorrow, at Veterans Park at Ruth and Main Streets. If the weather is bad, the event will be moved to the community center. The keynote speaker will be Lieutenant Colonel Sean Smith with Fort Bragg's 264th Combat Sustainment Support Battalion. There will be other remarks, the presentation of the mayoral plaque of freedom, and the laying of a memorial brick. Now, we want to hear from you, listeners, so please submit your events in writing at least 10 days in advance. You can email your calendar at thefayeobserver.com, or you can fax your details to 486-3545. And if you have any questions, please call 486-3500. That is Need to Know for today.
And for your daybreak news, sponsored by the Livewire and the Observer staff, there is a headline that says Gateway signs to the city being replaced in phases. Question: When will the old City of Fayetteville gateway signs currently up be replaced with the new ones? Many of those signs are old and faded and should be replaced immediately. This question was submitted by FT of Fayetteville. Answer. Fayetteville City spokesman Nathan Walls said the gateway signs are being replaced in phases. He said the city has replaced 4 signs located on Ramsey Street, on Murchison Road, on Bragg Boulevard, and Rayford Road. The city is in the process of getting the design to replace the US 301 and the North Carolina 24 highway signs as soon as possible, said Nathan Walls. He added that the completion of those signs is dependent on the North Carolina Department of Transportation's completion of construction work in both of those areas. That was given to us by Monica Vendituoli. The last question is, where can I purchase a Cancer Survivor t-shirt in the city of Fayetteville? I have looked and I cannot find one. This question was submitted by HB of Fayetteville. Answer. Top of the Hill Boutique, located on 118 Hay Street, that's at 118 Hay Street, can make a personalized t-shirt for you. Their phone number is 910-339-6348. Also, Yellow Crayons Marketing, located at 109 Green Street, makes personalized t-shirt. Their phone number is 910-729-8981. You may also order t-shirts and other items online from the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, that's bcrf.org, or Susan G. Komen for the Cure, shopkomen.com. That would be spelled shop-KOMEN. I think that would actually be shopkomen.com. That answer was provided for us by Roger Mullen. Livewire seeks to answer questions of general interest and consumer topics. Your initials are used to identify you when you submit a question. Contact Livewire at 910-486-3516 if you have a question of general interest and consumer topics.
Today is Thursday, November 9th, 2017, and the Fayetteville Observer is what we're reading. Let's go to the public safety area. The Cumberland County arrests. Number 1, Tina Marie Melvin, age 37, of the 1100 block of North Carolina 210, Roseboro, was charged with 15 counts of obtaining property by false pretenses and 5 counts of identity theft. Bail was set at $80,000. Michael Allen Evangelista, age 40, of the 6500 block of Pacific Avenue, was charged with felony assault by strangulation, misdemeanor, assault on a female, and communicating a threat. He was jailed without bail. Leandra Darkisha Denson, age 19, of the 6700 block of Camden Road, was charged with larceny, conspiracy, and possession of stolen property. Bail was set at $2,500. Michael Leroy Spencer, age 65, of the 7800 block of Arabia Road, Lumber Bridge, was charged with obtaining a property by false pretense. Bail was set at $1,500. Gerald LaSalle McLean, age 31, of the 400 of Rayner Road, Bun Level, was charged with multiple drug-related charges. Bail was set at $60,000. Samuel Darnell Wallace, 600 block of Little River Road, Spring Lake, was charged with multiple drug-related charges. Bail was set at $30,000. And thefts on Sawtooth Drive, the 300 block, reported at 11:38 a.m. Tuesday. Jewelry and sneakers taken from an apartment. Off Tokay Drive, the 200 block, reported at 12:46 p.m. Wednesday. Water heater, window air conditioner, 2 lawnmowers, a laptop computer, a washing machine were taken from the residence. On Hastings Drive, 3600 block, reported at 4:17 p.m. Tuesday, a washer and a dryer taken from a home. In Ani Court, the 200 block, reported at 2:14 p.m. Tuesday, copper pipe taken from the residence. And the break-ins on Cypress Road, 5300 block, reported at 10:07 a.m. Tuesday. The home was broken into and property taken. On Elm Street, the 1000 block, reported at 1:36 p.m. Wednesday. A door forced open on the residence. No property listed or stolen. From the English Oaks Drive, 200 block, reported at 5:57 a.m. Tuesday. Wedding rings, table computer, and piggy bank were taken from an apartment. Smith Street, the 6100 block, reported at 9:41 a.m. Tuesday. Cash and checks taken from the home. And on Reeves Street, the 1600 block, reported at 5:36 Tuesday, a television taken from the home. And on Old Wilmington Road, the 700 block, reported at 1:38 p.m. Tuesday, a necklace, television were taken from the home. Pine Brook Drive, the 1500 block, reported at 8:58 p.m. Tuesday. Home was entered but no property listed taken. In a robbery on Rayford Road, the 7700 block, reported at 2:45 p.m. Tuesday. A person attempted to shoplift a pressure washer from Walmart and produced a weapon and threatened an employee. The pressure washer was recovered. There you go for public safety.
And now, Leonard Pitts Jr., a columnist for the Miami Herald down there in Miami, asked us, why are we okay with mass shootings? Leonard says, I hate mass shootings. Everybody hates them, of course. Innocent death, fathers, fiancés, best friends, and sons snatched violently away, sudden carnage, crashing ordinary days. But I hate them for an additional reason. When things like this happen, you see, it is my job to have something to say about it. And I have got nothing. More accurately, I've got nothing left that I haven't already said. Shall I parse the killer's motivations? I did that after Columbine. Shall I praise heroism in the midst of massacre? I did that after Aurora. Shall I call out the evil in this world? I did that after Virginia Tech. Shall I demand a re-examination of our gun laws? I did that after Umpqua Community College. And it is a mark of how often this sort of thing happens and how routine it has become that you probably don't even remember Umpqua or Isla Vista. So no, I have got nothing, and even that is something I have said before. The need to have something is, as you doubtless know, occasioned by our latest atrocity. 26 people were shot dead in a rural church near San Antonio, Texas. Half of the victims reportedly were children, including a toddler 18 months old. The 26-year-old killer reportedly motivated by a domestic dispute, shot babies point blank, according to an eyewitness. Yet even at that wretched extreme, the whole thing feels routine. Just another Sunday in America, which leaves me with nothing to say except a question. Why are we okay with all of this? Not you and me as individuals, perhaps, but America as a corporate body. It seems ever more obvious that for all the lip service we pay to thoughts and prayers, for all of the candles we light and tears we weep, this is a thing that it seems like we accept, as opposed to Islamic terror, which we don't accept. You can read the distinction starkly in Donald Trump's tweets. After a Muslim shot up a nightclub in Orlando, the then candidate decried our lack of toughness and demanded a ban on Muslim travel. After a non-Muslim killed nearly 60 people in Las Vegas and wounded over 500 more, he said the killer's wires were crossed up pretty badly in his brain. After a Muslim killed 8 people in New York City, he mused about sending him to Gitmo and demanded the death penalty for him. After Sunday's murders by a non-Muslim, he promised to stand with the people of Sutherland Springs, Texas. It's not that Donald Trump won't condemn a non-Muslim killer, but he saves his greatest energy and outrage for the killer who claims to worship Islam, even though the former is the far deadlier threat. And though Donald Trump, our president, is often an outlier, his moral inconsistency here seems to reflect America's own inconsistency. Do you think that if the Texas killer had had an exotic name or begun his attack with a cry of Allah Akbar, our responses would be limited to thoughts and prayers, and lawmakers would be content to mouth impotent pieties? As a wag named Michael Skolnick pointed out on Twitter, one shoe bomber tried to blow up a plane, and now we take off all of our shoes when we're at the airport. When the killer is not a Muslim, though, we treat the killing like rain, like a natural vexation we lament but also accept because what are you going to do? But this is not rain, just for a different kind of murder. So I ask, why are we okay with this? The answer is obvious, but until we can bring ourselves to face it, we will be ill-equipped to find ways of preventing tragedies like this. They will come again and again and again and again and again, numbing repetitive carnage, and I believe it will never end. Not until it stops being okay with America. Leonard Pitt is a columnist for the Miami Herald, and if you want to write to him, you may contact him via email at lpitts@miamiherald.com, or you may write him at Leonard Pitts, Miami Herald, 1 Herald Plaza, Miami, Florida, 33132.
Okay, going to the local and the state, Thursday, November 9th, 2017, of the Fayetteville Observer, Steve Devane, the staff writer, gets us squared away on the voting results from Tuesday. Incumbency strong in town elections. Stedman has a new mayor, but the top leaders in 5 other Cumberland County towns were re-elected without opposition Tuesday. Marty Jones, who had been serving as Stedman's mayor pro tem, received 162 votes, or about 88.5% in the mayor's race, according to unofficial returns. Ralph Voigt received 21 votes, or about 11.5%. Jones follows Billy Horn, who led the town for 20 years. Horn, who also had served as a county commissioner and town commissioner, resigned in September. In the Stedman Commissioner's race, John Wayne Mosley and Paul Pierrot were elected. Mosley received 151 votes, while Pierrot received 145, according to unofficial returns. Harvey Kane Jr. received 24 votes. And in Eastover, Clark, you listening?
Yes, I am.
In Eastover, Mayor Charles G. McLaurin was re-elected without opposition. In the race for 3 seats on the Eastover Town Council, J. Lawrence Buffalo, Bruce Sykes, and Randy P. Lee were elected. Unofficial results showed Buffalo with 273 votes, Sykes with 242, and Lee with 236. Brian Pierce came in fourth with 179 votes. Godwin Mayor Willie Burnett was unopposed. Commissioners Donald McIntyre, George Cooper Jr., Ronald McNeil, and Darrell Duggar were re-elected with no other candidates in the race. In Linden, Mayor Marie Butler won re-election without opposition. Commissioners Barbara C. Denning, Larry Overby, Ronnie Manus, and Francis B. Collier were re-elected. Bobby Garner also won a seat on the board. Wade Mayor Joe Dixon was unopposed in his bid for re-election. Commissioners Johnny Lanthorn, Kenny Griffin, Ray Edwards, and Butch Nunnery were re-elected. Johnny Sawyer, who had previously served, also won a seat on the board. Staff writer Steve Devane can be reached at sdevane@fayeobserver.com, or you can call Steve at 486-3572.
And now we have a little article from the opinion piece of the Fayetteville Observer. And I've always wondered who is the author of some of these editorials. I would really like to know, and I think many of you also out there in listening land would like to know who are the authors of these opinion pieces of the Fayetteville Observer. And here we have, the title is called "Mudslinging Was Not a Useful Political Weapon." You really need to know which way the wind is blowing before you start throwing dirt and mud. Otherwise, it may land right back in your face. Nat Robertson did not check the wind before he unloaded volley after volley of dirt and mud and caked slime at Mitch Colvin in their Fayetteville mayoral race. And he walked straight into an electoral typhoon. That is, Nat Robertson did. He is likely still in the shower trying to get all of that mud and slime off of himself after the wind shifted directions. And so are a lot of voters who might have been moved a bit by some of Mayor Pro Tem Colvin's problems with law and regulation. But Nat Robertson lost them when he started stuffing their mailboxes with the details of Mitch Colvin's marriage, and it was a step too far. More than likely, probably several steps too far. In some cases, we expect it simply led voters to sit out this city election. A 16.5% turnout can fairly be called dismal. But Mitch Colvin's nearly 19-point victory margin is a strong endorsement for the man who will become our next mayor, and a sharp repudiation of Robertson's campaign of character assassination. Mitch Colvin's campaign was thoroughly the opposite. He ran on the issues, he highlighted his own strengths and accomplishments, and he was candid and transparent with what turned out to be a comparatively minor transgression or transgressions in his past. It was a classy response to what is called a political thuggery. The mayoral race, fortunately, was the only one deeply marred by dirt and mudslinging. Although District 5 victor Johnny Dawkins did make an unfortunate run in that direction when he tried to overhype a youthful fistfight that had gotten his opponent, Henry Tyson, into some minor trouble. Henry Tyson's response, like Colvin's, was transparent and classy. The 33-year-old businessman trailed Dawkins by only 400 votes. We expect to see him back into the political arena, and that will be a good thing. The sad thing about the mayor's race this year is that it meant the council would have to lose 2 members who have helped the city become a better place, who have a strong vision of what Fayetteville can become and the brains to know how to get the city of Fayetteville there. District 2 councilman Kirk DeVere was the first to go. He placed 3rd in the primary last month. And now Robertson, who has spent 22 years as a councilman or mayor, is heading out the door. Longtime councilman Bobby Hurst is also leaving city politics this year. Fortunately, there is plenty of experience remaining in the council chamber. Mitch Colvin has served aptly as mayor pro tem, heading up the efforts that are bringing the city a downtown ballpark and a Houston Astro minor league franchise, among other accomplishments. Hurst's successor, Dawkins, served on the council from the years 2003 to 2005. And while 2-term councilman Chalmers McDougall lost his seat, a 16-year council veteran, DJ Hare, is back in action to take his place. Incumbents Kathy Jensen, Bill Crisp, Larry Wright, Ted Moan, and unopposed Jim Arp will return. And that is a lot of experience and some good vision. And from what we've seen on the campaign trail, newcomers Tisha Waddell and Tyrone Williams will add energy and ideas to the council's deliberations. We expect that Waddell's career as a conflict resolution coach will become a valuable asset on the council. It is good that most council members won't face a steep learning curve. There's a lot of important work that must and have to be done. And it looks as if Fayetteville just got itself a strong, and we hope reinvigorated, city council with a new leader who wants to heal the city's divisions and accelerate the city of Fayetteville's progress. Congratulations to the winners, and thanks to all of those who offered their time, their ideas, and their effort to the voters. The time now is 10:33 in the morning on Thursday, the 9th of November 2017, and I would like to remind you that this is the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency. We broadcast from the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. As a nonprofit agency, we rely on public donations. We request your support to continue our services. When making charitable donations, please keep the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service in mind. Our post office box number is 35029, Fayetteville, North Carolina, 28303. If you have any questions or comments, please call this number, 910-672-1600, or call the toll-free number, 844-709-5656. Your radio hosts today are Clark and
Nancy.
And we are proud to serve you
Today. Clark, do you remember the Scottish Egg and the Scottish Fest we went to?
the Scotch Egg and the Scottish Fest. I
Yes.
sure do. It was right down by Campbellton Landing
It was the
a couple of weeks ago.
Caledonian Fest.
Yes, I do remember that.
Guess what? This is good news.
Tell me about it.
The Caledonian Fest was a success. These are the letters to the Observer. Thanks to the great response by the citizens of Fayetteville and the surrounding region, the Caledonian Scottish Fest held last month at historic Campbellton Landing was a great success, especially for a first-time event. So we went to the very first one.
We went to the very first one, yes.
Be assured that it will be back next year, Clark, and
Great.
likely in the same frame. Special thanks to the many folks who brought non-perishable food items as part of a discounted ticket scheme, as most donations far exceeded the value of the discount. These generous and most needed donations will go to the Second Harvest Food Bank of Southeast North Carolina. Thanks also to our primary supporters, the Fayetteville Observer, Scotland's Belhaven Brewery, and attorney Stephen C. McRae. Alan McDavid and team, aka Entertainment and Media, Greensboro. We welcome your letters. Listeners, please write about current topics of general interest. Letters will be edited and cannot exceed 250 words. Include your name, the street address, and daytime phone. Your name and hometown will be published. No poetry, open, or anonymous letters. We encourage civility. 4 weeks must elapse between letters from the same writer. Letters must be original by the person who signs the letter and exclusive to this newspaper. Are you ready? Write this down. You're going to write to the editorial page editor, the Fayetteville Observer, P.O. Box 849, Fayetteville, North Carolina, 28302. Or you can email your e-letters at fayobserver.com. Now let's go to Lumberton for a minute, where we have a teen charged in 3 Lumberton robberies. In Lumberton, the Lumberton Police Department is looking for a woman accused of robbing 3 businesses last week, and her name is Watson. Police have obtained warrants charging Tira Watson, she's only 18, with 3 counts of robbery with a dangerous weapon. She also is charged in an unrelated case with 1 count of felony larceny of a motor vehicle. Her last known address was Cato Drive in Shannon. She is accused of robbing the Family Dollar at 1719 Roberts Avenue on November 2nd at 6:52 p.m., the Dollar General at 925 Caton Road on Saturday at 11:46 a.m., and the Family Dollar at 1305 East 5th Street on the same day at 12:04 p.m. Anyone with information about Watson's whereabouts is asked to contact the police department at 910-671-3845 and speak with Detective Derek Evans or Detective Blake Harrell. This was submitted by Irasthani Kwa. Only 18, Watson. Now also in Lumberton we have a shooting that injures 1. Lumberton police responded to a shooting Tuesday night at 603 B Bravo Franklin Avenue. Officers found 38-year-old Bradley Fields just before 11 p.m. in his camper. He had a gunshot wound, was taken to Southeastern Regional Medical Center with what police said were life-threatening injuries. He was later transferred to another hospital. Anyone with information about the shooting is asked to call Detective David Williford or Detective Yvette Pitts at the Lumberton Police Department at 910-671-3845 by Hisranti Kwa.
And here we have a little article about the 16th military police brigade commander that was suspended. And Amanda Dolasinski wrote this little article, and she says that Fort Bragg's top cop has been suspended while an investigation is completed, according to the 18th Airborne Corps. Colonel Larry Dewey, commander of the 16th Military Police Brigade, was administratively suspended from duty on the 19th of October, according to the Corps. The brigade's deputy commander has taken command while Colonel Larry Dewey is suspended. The 18th Airborne Corps, which oversees the brigade, would not release any details about Colonel Larry Dewey and his investigation. Colonel Larry Dewey took command of the 16th MP Brigade from Colonel Eugenia Gilmartin during a change of command ceremony this past July 2017. The brigade, which has 5 battalions, provides garrison law enforcement and force protection to Fort Bragg, Fort Drum, New York, Fort Polk, Louisiana, and Fort Stewart, Georgia. As part of the 18th Airborne Corps, the brigade is postured to respond to contingency missions worldwide. Most notably, the 16th MP Brigade has supported Hurricane Matthew recovery efforts, protecting during the presidential inauguration in Washington, D.C., and protection for Pope Francis' visit to the United States in 2015. The 16th Military Police Brigade has participated in recent deployments to the United Arab Emirates, UAE, El Salvador, Honduras, Romania, Canada, Germany, Italy, and across the United States Africa Command. They are a very busy brigade. It's unfortunate that Colonel Larry Dewey was suspended during an investigation of his activities. Staff writer Amanda Dolasinski can be reached at 910-486-3528 if you have any comments or questions about this little article here.
Remember, this is Veterans Day celebration weekend. Let's keep our soldiers in mind as we move through the weekend. Going to the National Guard Armory named for a fallen soldier. This is by Amanda Dolasinski, staff writer. In Southern Pines, the family of Staff Sergeant Michael Voss gathered Wednesday, gazing at his name on a new sign outside the Southern Pines National Guard Armory. And we have a picture of Christine Passero. She is the mother of Staff Sergeant Michael Voss, and she is speaking during a renaming ceremony Wednesday. The North Carolina National Guard rededicated its Southern Pines Readiness Center in her son's honor, who died in Iraq in 2004. It has been 13 years since Voss's death, and the family said there was no other way they would mark the anniversary than to honor their hero. I'm just glad to be able to celebrate his life today because I'm able to feel the fact that he's not forgotten. This is his mother speaking about her son. Voss, who was 35, died on October 8th, 2004 when his convoy was struck by an improvised explosive device near Tikrit, Iraq. Voss was assigned to the National Guard's 1st Battalion, 120th Infantry Regiment, 30th Heavy Brigade Combat Team. His daughters, Lauren and Madeline, were 4 and 5 when he was killed. Voss had previously served for 9 years in the 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Bragg. During his funeral at Manly Presbyterian Church in Southern Pines, soldiers from the division fired 21 shots in his honor, and 2 buglers played taps. The sign outside the armory now bears Voss's name, and a plaque to hang inside displays his name and unit. The fallen soldier's mother said her son was an adventurous boy who enjoyed spending time outdoors. She recalled that once he set his mind to something, he would accomplish it. There was no stopping him, she said. Passero held up a small red trinket molded in the shape of a heart. It was a gift from her son when he was a boy, she said. The heart was constructed from army figurines that he melted down, reshaped and painted. He wrote "Mom" on it. It was like he knew even at 8 or 9 years of age what God's purpose was for him, she said, smiling as she held the trinket. To me, this is so representative of Michael. It combines the 2 things that were his purpose, family and being a soldier. At 8 or 9, somehow he knew that was his purpose in life. Major General Gregory Lusk, Adjutant General of the North Carolina National Guard, said the building will serve as a lasting symbol to the fallen soldier for the soldiers who passed through the building as well as to the public. They will be reminded constantly that indeed freedom is not free, he said. We all should be so very grateful that we have people that are willing to step up and pay that price if called upon. We will introduce him to generations yet to come as they walk through these doors of this armory. And staff writer Amanda Dolinsky can be reached at Dolinsky at FayeObserver.com, or you can call Amanda at 486-3528.
And now we have a word from Myron B. Pitts. Myron B. Pitts is a columnist for the Fayetteville Observer. Myron tells us that Robertson's negative tone helped Mitch Colvin win big. Earlier this year, Councilman Mitch Colvin learned for the first time that his great-great-grandfather, Sam Melvin, had been sold as a slave at the Market House in downtown Fayetteville. Mitch Colvin said, "The news shook me to my core." Now Mitch Colvin, age 44, is mayor-elect of the city where his great-great-grandfather was sold as chattel. He is the second African-American elected for the job after my brother, Marshall Pitts Jr., who won in 2001. This campaign had its highs and lows, he said in an interview Tuesday night. We started out with a game plan to stick to the issues and talk about things that are important to the people of Fayetteville. Thankfully, it looks like it resonated with most of the folks. People want to know if you're going to work together, if you're going to move forward. And Mitch Colvin beat Mayor Nat Robertson by more than 4,000 votes. A landslide. The energy Mitch Colvin's campaign team displayed deserves some credit. On Election Day, Mitch Colvin's supporters in neon shirts were holding signs for him at intersections on Skybow Road. But I believe the negative tone Nat Robertson took against Mitch Colvin contributed to the size of his loss. There was no big galvanizing issue that should have spurred such a backlash against a 2-term incumbent who had raised more money. Both candidates took a pledge at a forum on the 17th of October 2017 not to sling mud. But that time, Nat Robertson had already called him as far away as Raleigh as the Raleigh newspaper, pitching unflattering stories on Mitch Colvin. After the pledge, Nat Robertson mailed flyers that were awash in anti-Colvin negativity. And I saw in real time on Facebook 2 uncommitted voters who did not know either candidate move into Colvin's camp over the issue of mudslinging. And I suspect they were not the only ones that did that. Nat Robertson, a Republican and GOP party operatives posted anti-Colvin articles on Facebook while clinging to the claim that they were not slinging mud, but he was just merely highlighting facts about Mitch Colvin's life and his past. That's a fine line that Mitch Colvin, who is a Democrat, never had to walk. He did not return fire at Nat Robertson. He could legitimately say he did not sling mud. And on Wednesday, Nat Robertson, our mayor at the time, said he had not had a chance to dig through the numbers, so could not say why he lost so big. But he did say, honestly, I have a feeling that the votes were based more on political parties and racial lines, more so than the accomplishments in looking at voting records. Among registered voters, the county has 97,178 Democrats and 48,457 Republicans, according to the County Board of Elections. The mayor's race is officially nonpartisan, but Democratic Governor Roy Cooper came to the city late last month to headline a $150 a plate fundraiser on Colvin's behalf. The state party released a web ad from that event, as well as an ad with an endorsement from former Cumberland County Sheriff Moose Butler. Mitch Colvin, who directs a large funeral home that is well known in the African American community, may also have been boosted by a bumper crop of black candidates seeking a seat on the council or re-election. Including himself, a dozen were in contention on Tuesday. In December, the council will seat 6 African Americans, the most in the council's history. Nat Robertson, who lost to Democratic Mayor Tony Schiavone in 2011, did win 2 elections in 2013 and 2015 over former councilwoman Val Applewhite, an African American Democrat. He expressed confidence that he could repeat against Mitch Colvin his 2013 feat over Applewhite, where he came from behind after trailing by 1,500 votes in the October primary of that year. But there was a warning sign for Nat Robertson embedded in his 2017 primary numbers. He drew around 30% support, the same as 4 years ago, and it suggested his base had not grown despite 4 years of serving as the mayor. And deep in my belly and in my gut is Robertson also suffered from the national wave of sentiment against Donald Trump that appeared Tuesday to raise all boats for Democratic candidates. I think that meant to say votes, not boats. The most watched race was the Virginia governor's race, where Democrat Ralph Northam defeated Republican Ed Gillespie, who kept Trump at arm's length. But the list of Tuesday's winners was filled with candidates from diverse groups, many of whose members felt like they had been the target of a Trump 2016 campaign. Minorities, women, liberals, transgenders, all one big. Equality North Carolina, which is a gay rights group, said in a news release that 45 of the 65 candidates it endorsed in North Carolina won. Nat Robertson did seem aware that the tricky national environment for a Republican trying to win in a Democratic territory. At a candidates forum, a questioner asked Nat Robertson about his visits to the Trump White House, and Robertson said he had visited President Obama's White House too, and all the visits were about looking out for Fayetteville's interests. Still, the personal nature of some of the outgoing outgoing mayor's campaign attacks probably felt Trump-like to some Democratic voters. And this year, in this city, that was the wrong way to go. This article, again, was written by Myron B. Pitts, and you may call him if you have questions at 910-486-3559.
Okay, now we're going to see some of our soldiers at Fort Bragg, members of the 307th Airborne Engineer Battalion, and they are cheering their members during a boat race at a lake on Fort Bragg on Wednesday. These races were part of the 3rd Brigade Combat Team's annual Wall River Crossing reenactment. We're going to go back in time where the reenactors wear World War II era uniforms and they row a flat-bottomed canvas boat as they reenact the historic Wall River crossing on Fort Bragg on Wednesday. Paratroopers were well into their 3rd day of heavy fighting by the time the small boats arrived on the banks of the Wall River at Nijmegen, Netherlands, on September 20th, 1944. Charged with the daunting task of taking a bridge over the river from Nazi forces in broad daylight, the 1st 82nd Airborne Division soldiers launched from the shore of the Wall just before 3 p.m. and were immediately sunk by enemy forces on the opposite bank. Of 26 boats that would soon launch from the shore, 13 would return. Of them, only 8 were able to make repeated trips across the deadly river. On Wednesday, 82nd Airborne Division paratroopers again launched from ashore, but this time it was part of a friendly competition, a way for the 307th Brigade Engineer Battalion, 3rd Brigade Combat Team, to honor its past while building esprit de corps. At McKellar's Lake on Fort Bragg, 6 teams from the battalion raced across the water on Zodiac boats as simulated artillery and machine gun fire echoed across the water, with bragging rights and a trophy up for grabs. After a heated competition, during which A Company and B Company were neck and neck, the latter crossed the finish line first by mere minutes. Competition included 3 trips across the lake and back, with a foot race around the lake as a final leg. B Company finished the competition en masse, running together across the finish line with its company guide on. "Who are we?" First Sergeant Alex Burgos shouted at his soldiers seconds later. "Beastmasters!" the soldiers screamed in response, repeating the company nickname over and over. Lieutenant Colonel Donald Crawford, commander of the 307th Brigade Engineer Battalion, said soldiers had been looking forward to the competition for weeks. Before the race, Crawford led the soldiers on a roughly 2-mile run from the battalion to McKellar's Lake, with the soldiers carrying their boats overhead. The soldiers then watched as a team from the All-American Airborne Legion reenacted the crossing in World War II uniforms and a replica of the boats that would have been used during the assault. I wish I could have seen that.
That would have been great.
Crawford said the event was a friendly competition, but more importantly, he said it was a way for the battalion to commemorate the heroics of its past. Crawford said the battalion soldiers who recently returned from a rotation at a combat training center shared the same DNA as their predecessors. "I like to use the word grit," he said. "That's what paratroopers have. That tenacity and never quit attitude. That ability to get the mission done." In the late afternoon, the battalion gathered near the 82nd Airborne Division War Memorial to honor those lost.
The time now is 11 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, the 9th of November, 2017. And this is a reminder to tell you that this is the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency. We broadcast from the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. As a nonprofit agency, we rely on public donations. We request your support to continue our services. When making charitable donations, please keep the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service in mind. Our post office box number is 35029, Fayetteville, North Carolina, 28303. If you have any questions or comments, please call 910-672-1600 or call the toll-free number 844-709-5656. Your radio hosts today are Clark and
Nancy.
And we are proud to serve you today.
We start this hour with the obituaries in the news in the Cape Fear region. Harold Dean Bird, age 79, of Laurel Hill. Richard Bowles funeral service. Adrian Frank Powell Jr. of Clinton, the Crumpler Honeycutt Funeral Home. And our funerals for today: Bryant David Jr., age 74, of Broadway, 10:30 a.m., the Wiseman Mortuary Chapel. The burial will be at Sandhill State Veterans Cemetery, Wiseman Mortuary. Gorman Sr. Robert Bob, 71, of Hope Mills, 2 p.m., Westminster Presbyterian Church. The Pinecrest Funeral and Cremation Services of Hope Mills. Grady Clyde Jr., age 80, of Fayetteville, 10 a.m., the Sandhills State Veterans Cemetery. The burial will be the Sandhills State Veterans Cemetery, Wiseman Mortuary. Fowler Florence, age 89, of Fayetteville, 3 p.m., Rogers and Breeze Funeral Home, Rogers and Breeze Funeral Home. In Cumberland County, Laura L. Hill. Fayetteville, Mrs. Laura L. Addison Hill, age 91, of 1820 Edgecombe Avenue, Fayetteville. NC departed this life on November 6, 2017. The funeral services will be held on Saturday, November 11th at 11 a.m. in the First Baptist Church, 302 Moore Street. The burial will be at Lafayette Memorial Park, 2301 Ramsey Street. Hank Bauman Sr. Fayetteville, Harold Hank Lee Bowman Sr., age 90, of Fayetteville, passed away on Sunday, November 5th, 2017. A private celebration of life service will be held. In lieu of flowers, the family requests memorial contributions be made to St. Patrick's Catholic Church on the Cumberland Community Foundation. Service is entrusted to Rogers and Breeze Funeral Home. Bernetta Weeks, age 85, of Fayetteville, died Wednesday, November 1st, 2017. The funeral will be Thursday, 11 a.m., First Baptist Parkton, and the viewing, the First Baptist Parkton, Thursday, 10 to 11 a.m. The burial will be at Mount Hebrew Cemetery, Colvin Funeral Home and Crematory. Mary B. Howard. Mary B. Howard of Fayetteville died Sunday, November 5th, 2017. The graveside will be Thursday at noon, Northside Cemetery. Burial, Northside Cemetery. Pay Funeral Home. Vetterine B. Kirk from Eastover, Mrs. Vetterine B. Kirk, age 63, of 2787 James Dial Road, Eastover, departed this life on Monday, November 6, 2017. The funeral services will be held on Friday, November 10th at 11 a.m. in the Wiseman Mortuary Chapel. Viewing will be held Friday from 9 to 11 a.m. at the funeral home. Harold L. Marsh from Fayetteville, formerly of Perry, passed away November 7, 2017, while residing in Fayetteville, North Carolina. He was born June 23, 1919, in Alma. He was a World War II veteran. He married Betty Bridges Marsh and is survived by her and his 2 children, Joanne Cole and son Robert Marsh of Perry. 7 grandchildren, 8 grandchildren, 3 stepchildren, Barbara Smith, Tim, and Walter Bridges of Fayetteville, North Carolina. Funeral services will be held at Watkins Brothers Funeral Home in Perry on Saturday, November 11th at 2 p.m. Online condolences may be sent to the family by going to www.watkinsfuneralhomes.com.
And in the region and elsewhere, Raphael MacArthur, age 78, of Temple Hills, died Sunday, 29 October 2017. The funeral will be on Saturday at noon at the Bethel AME Zion Church in Spring Lake. Visitation will be at the Adcock Funeral Home Friday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. and the burial will be at the Sand Hills Veterans Cemetery, located near Fort Bragg, with military honors. The Adcock Funeral Home and Crematory has been entrusted with those services. Nancy Pittman Mulchon, age 68, of Rayford, died Wednesday, 8 November 2017. The memorial will be on Friday at 4 p.m. at the Pittman Grove Baptist Church. The visitation will follow at the church on Friday at 5 p.m. The services have been entrusted to the Fayetteville Cremation Services. Harry Lee Percha, age 67, of Nichols, South Carolina, died Saturday, 4 November 2017. The funeral will be Friday at 2 p.m. at the SNL Funeral Home Chapel in Fair Bluff. The burial will be private, and the SNL Funeral Home in Fair Bluff has been entrusted with those funeral services. Rexy May Usher, age 76, of Clinton, died Wednesday, 8 November 2017. There will be a graveside service on Saturday at 11 a.m. at the Clinton City Cemetery. The visitation will be at the Crumpler Honeycutt Funeral Home on Friday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Rosa Lee McNeil, age 92, of Rayford, died Tuesday, 7 November 2017. The memorial will be on Saturday at 11 a.m. at the Antioch Presbyterian Church Cemetery. And the Crumpler Funeral Home has been entrusted with those services. Gerald Stone, age 85, of Fairbluff, died Wednesday, 1 November 2017. There will be a graveside service on Saturday at 3 p.m. at the Barnesville Cemetery in Barnesville. The McKenzie Mortuary has been entrusted with those services. Ruth Nance Everhart, age 84, of Lillington, died Tuesday, 7 November 2017. The memorial will be on Saturday at 2 p.m. at the Lillington United Methodist Church. The visitation will be at the Church Education Building on Saturday at 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. O'Quinn Peebles Phillips Funeral Home and Crematory of Lillington has been entrusted with those services. Richard A. Jones, age 58, of Lumberton, died Monday, 6 November 2017. The funeral will be on Saturday at 1 p.m. at the Baptist Association Building. The visitation will be at the Colvin Funeral Home on Friday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. The burial will be at Hestertown Cemetery, and the Colvin Funeral Home of Lumberton has been entrusted with those services.
Let's move to Billy Graham. And Billy Graham is alive. I want you to know that. Don't knowingly put yourself in the way of temptation. Question. I've been in a residential drug rehab program for the last 8 months. Our director just told me that I can go home for Thanksgiving, but I'm scared because I'm afraid I'll get with my old friends and slip back into my old ways. Should I take the risk? D. Ara. Answer. I'm thankful for the progress you've made. I hope you're thankful also. From what you say elsewhere in your letter, you definitely were on the road to destruction, and even if you didn't realize it, God has been with you and wants to put your feet firmly on another road, His road. This is why I hope you won't jeopardize the progress you've made by putting yourself in the way of temptations you can't resist. These friends haven't helped you. From what you say, they've been a large part of your problem. Unless you know beyond a shadow of doubt that you can totally avoid them if you go home, I urge you to not take the risk. The Bible's warning is true. Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. From the first book of Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 33. Most important thing you can do as Thanksgiving approaches, however, is turn to God and seek His help. God loves you, and one reason I know this is because He has preserved your life. More than that, almost 2,000 years ago, Jesus Christ gave His life for you. He was without sin, but on the cross all your sins were placed on Him, and He died in your place. By a simple prayer of faith, tell God you know you need Him and that you want Christ to come into your life, and He will. Then thank Him every day for loving you and helping you. Now, readers, you can write to the Reverend Billy Graham at the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association, 1 Billy Graham Parkway, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28201. Or call Billy at 877-2-GRAHAM. The website for the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association is at billygraham.org.Tribune Media Services.
And Nancy, I believe when you said that he is still alive, he being Billy Graham, we saw 2 days ago on a news channel on TV that Billy Graham celebrated his 99th birthday on the 7th of November of this year. Billy Graham is 99. He was born in 1918. Isn't that amazing?
99.
He's 99 years old, and we saw that on a news program on TV about 2 days ago. But let me get to some more interesting information, although Billy Graham is very interesting, but I'd like to share this with you. As Dear Abby was written to by a woman that states that as her boyfriend's hair disappears, so does her attraction for her husband.
Can you believe that?
Well, let me read what Dear Abby says.
All right.
Dear Abby, my physical attraction to my boyfriend, I thought they were married, but to my boyfriend has significantly diminished due to his baldness. I know this may seem very shallow and trivial, but I have lost all interest in intimate contact with him. When I look at his hairless head, his bald head, or he rests his head on my shoulder, it literally makes my stomach turn. I get this disgusted feeling all throughout my body when I look at his bald head. Now, our romance began 20 years ago, Abby, when he still had a full bushy head of hair. But it fell out 2 years ago. I still have some feelings somewhere inside of me for him, but I don't know how to get past this feeling.
Oh my goodness. Good
I'm shocked.
grief.
Very shocking. Very shocking. I have tried turning out the lights and even imagine that I'm with someone else. I'm sure other women feel the same way that I do. Now, he's no Yul Brynner, but I am just not turned on by his bald head. He tries to conceal his baldness by doing the comb-over thing. Yes, the comb-over thing, with his side hair. So I know he's self-conscious about his bald head. But I'm also very turned off about this whole thing with flipping his hair over his bald head. Please, Abby, can you give me some kind of advice? I haven't said anything because I do not want to offend him. I am upset and discouraged, and I no longer look forward to seeing him because of this. I dream of being with a man with a full bushy head of hair now. And it would be an awful reason for me to leave him, but I cannot stand looking at his head. I even envision a sack with holes for his eyes over his head. What am I going to do?
Oh my goodness.
Signed, turned off in Cincinnati, Ohio. Dear turned off in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Come on, Abby.
Please ask yourself whether you are turned off by your boyfriend's baldness or whether it's his attempt to hide it with the unconvincing comb-over. If it is the latter, the solution might be for him to go the way of Dwayne, The Rock Johnson, or Vin Diesel look and shave his head. So he is completely bald with no fringe growing above his ears. However, if you truly cannot handle the fact that his locks have flown the coop, then do him and yourself a favor. Even after 20 years of dating him, turn him loose so he can find someone to love him and appreciate him for what is going on under his scalp rather than over it.
Amen.
Someone once said, you can fool Mother Nature, but you cannot fool Father Time. Aging and the consequences it brings happens to women as well as men. Keep that in the back of your mind as you consider jumping back into the dating pool after 20 years. And the last question for Dear Abby is, Dear Abby, I am a married 51-year-old woman. I have a friend, and she is 68 years old, and she is divorced. We have a great time together, joking and laughing together. However, lately, I have noticed changes in my 68-year-old woman friend's behavior, and they are alarming to me, and enough that I am reconsidering our relationship. Here's an example, Abby. Today, we went to a flea market, and I watched my 68-year-old woman friend pick up a ring and try it on. Then she pretended to return the ring back to the counter, but she palmed that ring and slipped it into her pocket.
Oh, no.
I was shocked beyond all reprehension. I thought I was seeing things, but it happened a second time, and this time with a heart pendant. Next, she stole a bottle of hand lotion, which,
wow.
Yes, I was amazed because they were 3 for $1. And oh, did I tell you, Abby? My friend is loaded with money. Her ex-husband left her with the bank. So she has money, but guess what, Abby? She's a cheapskate.
I'll say.
Yeah. And I'm appalled by her behavior, and I don't know what to do about it. Do I tell my friend that I caught her stealing, or do I let it go and not shop with her again? I don't want to be associated with a thief and a criminal. Help me, Abby. Help. Signed, Not the Same in the East. Dear Not the Same in the East, I, too, am concerned about what you saw, the committing of a crime. You might be associated with that crime the next time you go shopping with her. And no longer shopping with this friend might just be a good idea for you. Does she have children that you can contact? Because these are alarming changes in this woman's personality.
I'll say.
She may need a physical and neurological examination to make sure that she is not seriously ill. But let me just forewarn you, not the same in the East. She may have been doing this kind of thing the whole time you have known her, and this is the first time that you have caught her in action. Now, readers, you can write to Dear Abby at dearabby.com, or you may write her at Dear Abby, Post Office Box 69440, Los Angeles, California 90069.
And remember, today is Thursday, November 9th, 2017, and I'm excited we're going to the horoscope by Stella Wilder. If you are born today, you are likely to enjoy great success over the long term. That's provided you don't make any decisions that get you in hot water, including legal trouble. Your first question may be, of course, why would I do that? But you are one of those who is always flirting with the dark side, doing things in a way they were not intended to be. Scorpio, October 23rd through November 21st. Scorpio, it's essential that you and a partner get up to speed together, not separately. A close collaboration is required at this time. Sagittarius, November 22nd through December 21st. You may find yourself caught between the proverbial rock and hard place today, but only because you didn't compromise. Capricorn, December 22nd through January 19th. Cappy, the decisions you may make come under some scrutiny today as others determine that you must be understood. Aquarius, January 20th through February 18th. Someone close to you may be trying to foment some kind of conflict when there is none, nor should there be. Pisces, February 19th through March 20th. You may want to keep your distance from one who has decided not to play fair. He or she is trying something you would never do. And Aries, March 21st through April 19th. Aries, you seem to know almost everything that is going to happen before it does. But how? You are plugged in a most unusual way today. And Taurus, April 20th through May 20th. Taurus, the difference between fact and fiction may become somewhat blurred today, and it will be up to you to get others back on the right track. Gemini, May 21st through June 20th. Gemini, the way you do things is the way others want to do them. So you can expect to ask many questions about your motives and methods. And Cancer, here you go, Clark, June 21st to July 22nd. Your well-being matters more today than anything else, but you may have trouble making time to focus on what you really need. Leo, July 23rd through August 22nd. You can do good work and accomplish much, even though your circumstances are not conducive to creativity or problem solving. Virgo, August 23rd through September 22nd. Virgo, you can make a big decision today without having all information you need, but you should expect to change your mind. And Libra, September 23rd through October 22nd. Libra, someone may be trying to limit your freedom in some way. You can assert independence without being the cause of conflict. And these are the horoscope by Stella Wilder.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again. It is Tongue Twister time, brought to us by the People's Pharmacy. That's right, Joe and Teresa Graydon write the People's Pharmacy. And they say that when a miracle drug goes bad, that doesn't make sense. It's kind of a short sentence there. But we're going to find out when we start reading the question. Question, Joe and Teresa Graydon. When I first started taking Lyrica for severe fibromyalgia and nerve pain from diabetes, it was as though I had found the miracle drug. Yes, my husband said he had gotten his wife back. That was 3 years ago, before I started thinking about death every single day. I am currently not driving because the voice inside my head kept telling me to drive off the road and end it all. It was exhausting, just trying to stay alive. Now, I have been off Lyrica for about a week now. I withdrew very slowly because I had tried to stop it one time before and I suffered terribly. I reduced the dose by 25 milligrams a week and waited for the worst of the withdrawal symptoms to clear before I lowered my dosage again. A constant horrible headache, nausea, shaking, and sleepiness lasted for about 10 days. Now that I am completely off of this drug, the headache is finally gone. I still have nausea every time I move, and just taking a shower and getting dressed brings on the nausea. I'm hoping this too will pass. And the answer is pregabalin, or the common name, Lyrica, is an anticonvulsant drug, but it is probably prescribed far more often to treat nerve pain. People suffering from pain after shingles may benefit from taking it. Doctors prescribe Lyrica to ease the pain of fibromyalgia. The official prescribing information warns us that Lyrica may cause suicidal thoughts or behavior, as well as anxiety, as well as restlessness, as well as panic attacks, and as well as irritability.
Good grief.
That's what I said. It also can cause swelling of the legs, swelling of the feet, swelling of the hands, along with dizziness, and drowsiness and trouble concentrating, blurred vision and weight gain of all things. People that stop Lyrica have reported headaches, nausea, trouble sleeping, anxiety, and increased sweating. In other words, your frightening experience is not unusual. The next question for Joe and Teresa Graydon of the People's Pharmacy is: people who have persistent, excessive flatulence should ask their doctor about Helicobacter pylori. This bad, ugly bug affects many children and adults and may lead to serious complications. The bacteria, this nasty little bug, thrives in the digestive tract but can be detected with a blood or a breath test. Doctors do not always check for Helicobacter pylori, so you may often have to ask your doctor to check for that nasty little bug. I had that problem years ago. My 10-year-old godchild became very ill this year and was unable to attend school. After repeated medical exams and hospitalization, a doctor finally stepped up and told me that he tested her for Helicobacter pylori. She recovered when she was treated with antibiotics. Now here's the answer. Helicobacter pylori is a type of a bacteria that infects the linings of the stomach. It is a prime cause of stomach ulcers, as Australian gastroenterologist Barry Marshall and Robin Warren demonstrated in the year of 1982. Helicobacter pylori can cause a range of gastrointestinal symptoms, including nausea, stomach ache, excessive gas and flatulence, and bad breath.
Oh, brother.
I wonder if the police ever experienced that, bad breath. So, to get rid of Helicobacter pylori in a person with ulcers, the doctors have now used multiple antibiotics in combination with bismuth subsilicate, which is commonly called Pepto-Bismol, or a proton pump inhibitor such as esomeprazole. A follow-up test should show whether the treatment was successful. We provide more information on Helicobacter pylori and its consequences, as well as details on the treatment in, of course, our guide to digestive disorders. And anyone that would like a copy of this guide to digestive orders, we ask that you send $3 in a check or a money order, along with a number 10 stamped self-addressed envelope, which the stamp should be 70 cents, to Graydon's People's Pharmacy. Next line, number G-3, next line, P.O. Box 52027, Durham, North Carolina, 27717-2027. Or, if you want to, you can go online, and for the low price of $2, you can get this Guide to Digestive Disorders from our website, www.peoplespharmacy.com. And now, I'd like to say that it is 11:34 in the morning on Thursday, 9 November 2017. And I would like to remind you that this is the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency, and we broadcast from the campus of Fayetteville State University. And our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. As a nonprofit agency, we rely on public donations. We request your support to continue our services, and when making charitable donations, please keep the Southeastern North Carolina radio reading service in mind. Our post office box number is 35029, Fayetteville, North Carolina 28303. And if you have any questions or comments, call 910-672-1600 or call the toll-free number 844-709-5656. Your radio hosts today are Clark and
Nancy.
And we are proud to serve you today.
Going to the business section, if you're watching the market, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the S&P, Russell, and the NYSE are all up today. Commodities review, gold, silver, platinum, and copper are up while oil is down. And the market movers, Take-Two Interactive Software Inc. is up. Snap Incorporated is down. The social media site posted disappointing revenue and user growth in its last quarter. Going to our briefcase, Washington, the U.S. tightens travel rules in Cuba and the blacklist businesses. America is seeking to visit Cuba. If you are, you have to navigate the complicated maze of travel, commerce, and financial restrictions unveiled Wednesday by the Trump administration, part of a new policy to further isolate the island's communist government. Now off limits to U.S. citizens are dozens of Cuban hotels, shops, tour companies, and other businesses included on a lengthy American blacklist that have links to Cuba's military, intelligence, or security services. Most Americans will once again be required to travel as part of heavily regulated, organized tour groups run by U.S. companies rather than voyaging to Cuba on their own. And in New York, a report the government wants AT&T to sell TV properties. AT&T says it's uncertain when its $85 billion deal for Time Warner will close, making investors worry that regulators may try to block it or require significant changes. Reports from the New York Times, CNN, and other outlets citing unidentified people said the Justice Department wants to require the companies to sell Turner Broadcasting, which houses CNN, TBS, and TNT, or to sell satellite TV provider DirecTV, which AT&T bought in 2015. AT&T CEO Randall Stephenson said in his statement, "I have never offered to sell CNN and have no intention of doing so." Moving to Lisbon, Portugal, Uber reaches for skies with plan for a flying taxi. Commuters of the future could get some relief from congested roads if Uber's plans for flying taxis work out. The ride-hailing service unveiled Wednesday an artist's impression of the sleek, futuristic machine it hopes to start using for demonstration flights in 2020. The company aims to have its first paying passengers in various cities around the world by 2023, though the plan still faces major hurdles. And in Washington, former Yahoo CEO, no one immune from acts. Former Yahoo CEO Marissa Mayer told lawmakers Wednesday that the threat from state-sponsored hackers has changed the playing field so dramatically that even the best defended companies can fall victim. Mayer joined former and current CEOs of Equifax in testifying before a Senate committee examining recent data breaches that affected millions of Americans. Lawmakers said they hope to use the information learned to shape future legislation. In Yahoo's case, stolen information for billions of users included names, email addresses, phone numbers, birthdates, and security questions and answers. Mayer said the thefts occurred during her nearly 5-year tenure, and she wants to sincerely apologize to each and every one of our users. This is from the Associated Press.
Here's an article that's written by Sadie Gurman of the Associated Press. And it tells us that the FBI again finds itself unable to unlock a gunman's phone. Washington. The Texas church massacre is providing a familiar frustration for law enforcement. The FBI agents are unable to unlock the gunman's encrypted cell phone to learn what evidence it might hold. But while heart-wrenching details of the rampage that left more than 24 people dead might revive the debate over the balance of digital privacy rights and national security, it is not likely to prompt a change anytime soon. Congress has not shown a strong appetite for legislation that would force technology companies to help the government break into encrypted phones and computers. And the fiery public debate surrounding the FBI's legal fight with Apple Incorporated has largely faded since federal authorities announced they were able to access a locked phone in a terror case without the help of the technology giant, Apple. As a candidate, Donald Trump called on Americans to boycott Apple unless it helped the FBI hack into the phone. But he has not been as vocal as the president of Apple. Still, the issue re-emerged Tuesday when Christopher Combs, the special agent in charge of the FBI's San Antonio, Texas division, said agents had been unable to get into the cell phone belonging to Devin Patrick Kelly, who slaughtered much of the congregation in the middle of a Sunday service. It highlights an issue you have all heard about before. With the advance of technology and the phones and the encryption, law enforcement is increasingly not able to get into these phones, Combs told reporters, saying the device was being flown to an FBI laboratory for analysis. Christopher Combs, the special agent in charge of the FBI's San Antonio division, did not identify the make or the model, but a U.S. official briefed by law enforcement told the Associated Press it was an Apple iPhone. We are working very hard to get into that phone, and that will continue until we find the answer, said Christopher Combs. Christopher Combs was telegraphing a long-standing frustration of the FBI, which claims encryption has stymied investigations of everything from sex crimes against children to drug cases, even if they obtain a warrant for the information. Agents had been unable to retrieve data from half the mobile devices, more than 6,900 phones, computers, and tablets that they tried to access in less than a year. FBI Director Christopher Wray said last month, wading into an issue that also vexed his predecessor, James Comey. James Comey spoke before Congress and elsewhere about the Bureau's inability to access digital devices. But the Obama White House never publicly supported legislation that would have forced technology companies to give the FBI a backdoor to encrypted information that left Comey's hands tied to propose a specific legislative fix. Security experts generally believe such encryption backdoors are a terrible idea that could expose a vast amount of private business and government data to hackers and spies. That's because those backdoor keys would work for bad guys as well as the good guys. And the bad guys would almost immediately target them for theft and might even be able to recreate them from scratch. Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein took aim at Silicon Valley's methods for protecting privacy during a speech last month, saying that Donald Trump's Justice Department would be more aggressive in seeking information from technology companies. He took a harder line than his predecessor, but stopped short of saying what specific steps the administration might take about unlocking encrypted devices.
You think they'll get into that fund?
I don't know. I have no idea. They should try to, because I'm sure it will reveal a lot of secrets about that Devon character.
Okay, going to the businesses, how they balance customer-worker needs. This is written by Joyce M. Rosenberg from the Associated Press, going to New York. Before the holiday season, employees at Andrea Coriel's catering business get an email reminder that in December, we need all hands on deck. Elegant Affairs Caterers often has 12 events in a single day during the holidays, so Coriel needs her staff of 230 to show up for work. Her email puts everyone on notice that during the 2 weeks when most clients have holiday parties, work needs to be the priority. If it's crunch week and we're not covered, everyone gets stressed out, says Coriel, whose Glen Cove, New York-based company caters events on Long Island and in New York City. Holiday season is prime time at many small businesses, and they may not have enough staff to accommodate the extra work as well as the time off many employees want. Retailers, caterers, and even many companies whose work isn't connected with holiday celebrations have to find ways to keep their staffers happy, along with their customers. Many find that advance notice, even before a worker is hired, helps set expectations and limit disappointments. Bosses also find that they do not need to be flexible. Coriel recognizes that even on the busiest days, some staffers want to attend their children's concerts and other holiday events. She requires them to ask in advance. She uses flexible scheduling. If employees need to leave early for an event, they can come in for a few hours early to make up the time. And if there's a last-minute request, we usually get aggravated. But you figure something out, says Coriel. Bob Basso deals with holiday issues from two perspectives. His company, Advantage Payroll Services, provides human resources consulting along with paycheck processing. His small business clients ask for guidance about how to get work done while also letting staffers have some time off. He recommends being as flexible as possible, although a company's size and line of work will dictate how generous a boss can be. A company may have 400 employees and some are not critical day to day, so it may not be necessary for all of them to be there. But if there are 5 people in a bakery, it's not going to be so easy, says Basso, whose company is based in Freeport, New York.
And here we have something from the life section of the newspaper, Seeking Independence. This was written by Roger Mullen, a staff writer for the Fayetteville Observer. As it prepared its next show, the Sweet Tea Shakespeare Theater Group is entering a new stage. Founder and artistic director Jeremy Feebig said Sweet Tea has applied for nonprofit status and will operate separately from Fayetteville State University, where Feebig is a theater professor. It will run as an independent nonprofit organization, said Jeremy Feebig. We will still have strong ties to FSU through student internships and work with their fine arts series. The group was founded in 2012. It stages its plays at a variety of locations that are both indoors and outdoors, using local and out of the area actors. Jeremy Feebig said the amount of paperwork involved in the actors' contracts and other issues was a factor in deciding to go independent as the theater looks toward the next 5 to 10 years in its theater productions. We were essentially asking FSU to absorb all that paperwork, and we were pretty well taxing all of them, said Jeremy Feebig. We determined that the best way to grow was to have independence and go with our own overhead administrative stuff. Jeremy Feebig said audiences should not see any changes in the productions. Sweet Tea offers productions that Sweet Tea offers. The group is trying to find a permanent headquarters for the Sweet Tea productions. In terms of our programming, nothing is going to change, said Jeremy Feebig. We are going to continue with this season and are making plans for next season. The group is preparing to stage its next production, Lit Summer, the latest in its Lit series. The story is Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. The Lit series is an irreverent take on the classics, with games, audience interaction, and frivolity encouraged. They want you to be frivolous during the productions, Nancy.
That's the way Shakespeare did it.
I see. It's about these 4 lovers who escape into the woods where they are tricked by fairies, said Jeremy Feebig. There is also a group of actors who are tricked and fooled by the fairies. Mary Lowe directs the show. Hannah Lafko is the assistant director. Performers are Christine Orozco, Tori Petty, Jenny Carey, Arlie Honeycutt, Tracy Zapata, Gabe Terry, Justin Heath, Alexia Thompson, and Heather Eddy. In keeping with its tradition of staging plays in non-traditional locales, the Sweet Tea will put on Lit Summer today at Patty's Irish Pub on Friday at LeClaire's General Store. So today you can see Lit Summer at Patty's Irish Pub, and tomorrow you can see Lit Summer at LeClaire's General Store on Fort Bragg Road. I believe that's where it is. And on 16 and 17 November you can see that production at the Cape Fear Botanical Garden. In December, the group will stage Behold, a folk Christmas cantata. Performances are 7, 8, and 9 December at the Holy Trinity Episcopal Church, located at 1601 Rayford Road. As Sweet Tea enters its 6th year, Jeremy Feebig said Sweet Tea plans to continue to be part of the community that includes FSU. We are in a mutually beneficial relationship with the Fayetteville State University. We will still engage with Fayetteville State University. Roger Mullen wrote this article, and if you would like to talk to Roger about what he researched about the Sweet Tea Production Company, you may call him at 910-486-3561.
And for all you music lovers, of course, the CMA Awards were last night. Entertainer of the Year was Garth Brooks. The female vocalist of the year, Miranda Lambert. Male vocalist of the year, Chris Stapleton. Album of the year, From a Room Volume 1, Chris Stapleton. Song of the Year, Better Man, Taylor Swift. Single of the Year, Blue Ain't Your Color, Keith Urban. And Vocal Group of the Year, The Little Big Town. Vocal Duo of the Year, The Brothers Osborne. New Artist of the Year, John Party. Musical Event of the Year, Funny How Time Slips Away, Glenn Campbell with Willie Nelson. Music Video of the Year, It Ain't My Fault, Brothers Osborne. And the Musician of the Year was Mac McAnally on the guitar. Now, Mesfin Fegadu from the Associated Press said Garth Brooks continued his winning streak as Entertainer of the Year in 2016. Brooks, who won the top prize 6 times, beat Chris Stapleton in Arab Church on Wednesday at the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee. "We're a family," he said about the country music community when accepting the honor. Okay, so this show is dedicated to all those we lost, said Brad Paisley. And Brad Paisley and Underwood celebrated their 10-year anniversary as hosts of the CMAs. They joked at the top of the show about CMA sending restrictions to press about what to ask singers on the red carpet, saying they shouldn't ask about politics or guns. And they riffed on politics, taking shots at President Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Maybe next time he'll think before he tweets, they sang, to the beat of Underwood massive hit Before He Cheats. One person they didn't joke about was Taylor Swift, and although Swift is releasing her second pop album this week, she's still being awarded for her contributions to country music. Swift won Song of the Year, awarded to songwriters for penning Little Big Town's #1 hit Better Man. Swift will release her 6th album, Reputation, on Friday. She couldn't be here tonight, but Taylor, wherever you are, thank you for this beautiful song, Fairchild said on stage. Swift wasn't the only pop star who had a present at the CMAs. Pink sang her slow tune Barbie, backed by several musicians and singers, while One Direction's Niall Horan performed a duet with Grammy-winning singer Maren Morris, fitting right in with the country crowd and showcasing his singer-songwriter side.
And now, I would like to share with you some Veterans Day closings. The banks and offices will be open Friday, but they will be closed Saturday. Federal offices will be closed Friday. Courts will be closed Friday. Postal services will be open Friday, but closed Saturday. The state offices will be closed Friday. The courts will be closed Friday. Fort Bragg soldiers and airmen are off on Friday. The North Post Commissary will be open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday. The South Post Commissary will be open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Saturday. The South Post Exchange will be open 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Friday and 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday. And the North Post Exchange will be open 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Friday and 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Saturday. The schools, Cumberland County and Fort Bragg schools, are closed on Friday. Cumberland County offices closed Friday. Public libraries closed Friday. Ann Street, Wilkes Booth landfills will be closed Friday, will be open Friday and closed Saturday. This concludes our broadcast of the Fayetteville Observer. Your radio hosts today have been Clark and
Nancy.
At 2 p.m., please listen to the Southern Pines Pilot. 4 p.m., you can hear Off the Bookshelf. Additionally, you will hear a rebroadcast of today's Fayetteville Observer tonight at 9 p.m. We will now join the Raleigh Network for additional news of interest. Thank you for tuning in, Clark and
Nancy.
and have a wonderful day.